The pre-stream with Mo in the deep end and Shizzy Wiznut. Sweetie, we ain't here to babysit your feelings. Bless your heart, we are here to laugh, react, and roast every stupid thing you do.
Oh, yes. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. We've got a good one for you tonight. This is absolutely hilarious. Just Judge McBurney, he's a judge here, and I will say probably one of my favorite judges in Georgia. He is a blast, and this one does not disappoint.
So, I'm here for a hearing on a 9-15-14 motion that counsel for Ms. Robinson and her company Cross and Dot filed as a result of the first version of the complaint that Mr. Folson filed. Hopefully that's what you are here for. I'm assuming.
So in case you're wondering what this is over, is Mr. Folson is this gentleman right here. This is Mr. Folson. Okay. This is the defendant here, and this is her attorney, and he filed something on her, and they'll get in a little bit, well, her company, but it'll go into a little more detail here shortly, and it's going to get really interesting.
You are Mr. Folson?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. And you are counsel for Ms. Robinson and Cross and Dot?
That's correct, Judge. And my associate, Margaret Euler, is with me as well.
Okay. And could I have your name?
Oh, the lady, Miss Robinson, isn't there. So that's his associate. So he's the attorney. That's his associate. So she's more of an observer.
Will Banks.
Mr. Will Banks. All right. We've got everyone we need. So here's what I understand the issue to be. And then Mr. Will Banks, I'll hear from you or your associate. And then Mr. Folson, of course, I'll hear from you. So we get both sides of it. The original complaint, Mr. Folson sued Ms. Sterling, who was an official at the school where Mr. Folson worked, the schools, Ms. Robinson, Cross and Dot. Cross and Dot was named as a defendant in the style of the case. They were served, they had to answer, but there were no claims made against Cross and Dot. And so
And so if you're wondering what he's talking about, is basically he named this Cross and Dot in this complaint, but he didn't submit anything where they should be in the complaint. It would be like me suing the expert and then naming Mo, but never putting that she did anything, just having her name in there. So that's what he did, which it could be an easy mistake that could be easily cured. You know, you can say, listen, I'm sorry, there was a mistake. I added the wrong person or whatever.
According to Mr. Wilbanks, is a basis to award the cost to Cross and Dot of having to defend against a complaint that named them but didn't charge them with anything in effect. Ms. Robinson was named in a specific claim, but she wasn't party to the employment contract. And so there isn't a good faith legal argument that she'd be liable for some violation of the employment contract. And I may be simplifying it some, but I'm going to let you amplify on that, Mr. Wilbanks. So,
I mean, does that make sense? Like, so Cross and Dot was named, as was Miss Wilson. Miss Wilson has nothing to do with this whatsoever, with the initial complaint, whatever that might have been. And so, they're just trying to basically, it costs whenever you name somebody and they have to respond, and they do respond. And even if you drop them later, there's an issue with that, because they had to respond to this, there's and attorneys, are not cheap, So if you're going to name somebody, you better be sure that you're going to keep them in a lawsuit, and you have to have a reason for having that there, which he didn't, obviously.
No.
So he simplified it, but this gets so good.
the claim as to Cross and Dot is you threw our name in there and you didn't then say we did anything for which we could be legally liable. And then Ms. Robinson, the one thing or the things that Ms. Robinson allegedly did, she couldn't be legally liable for because she wasn't party to the contract. She was a contractor of the school, not an employee of the school, not an employer of Mr. Folsom. Mr. Folsom has responded in the way he thinks is appropriate and made his arguments, and I'll hear more on those if the sides want to amplify on them. But I guess we have the additional issue that I'd like to discuss. It's not in a motion per se right now, but I dismissed Ms. Robinson and Cross and Dot from the complaint. And one claim survived the various motions to dismiss. It was a claim against Ms. Sterling. Mr. Folsom was invited to amplify on it. I think it was a defamation type claim if he wanted to keep it alive. And he did, but in his amended complaint, he added Cross and Dot, or at least Ms. Robinson, back in. I can't remember if he also added Cross and Dot back in, but certainly Ms. Robinson. And so one of the things I need to work through, not in connection with the 91514, but where we go next with this case is, can Mr. Folsom do that? He did not file a motion for leave to add parties, which I understand because
yeah, and I mean this becomes a big issue because, for example, if all of a sudden I just I'll take it back to I'm suing Expert, Fallstorm, Diva, all these people, and then I accidentally add Mo, and then they kick it back and are just like, there's no reason to have Mo in there, and then all of a sudden, after some motions, I add Mo back in. And I didn't ask the judge to add another person in. That becomes a really big problem because now you're adding parties to it and they have to respawn. You have to have timely response and all this kind of crap. And they never did that. So this becomes a pretty big issue. And that McBurney gives a good breakdown of everything. He really gets it set up. So
because when adding a new party, Ms. Robinson had been in the case before. But Ms. Robinson was removed from the case, and a plaintiff cannot add a party post-complaint without leave of court. And so it may be that Ms. Robinson, and again, I can't remember if Cross and Dot were re-added as well, they don't really have any answer they need to file, and they can't be in default because Mr. Folsom was never authorized to bring them back into the complaint. That's secondary, but don't leave without us talking about that. So let's start with the 91514, Mr. Wilbanks.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think you summarized it very well. And I guess by way of opening, I would say that really my presentation is going to be to present the court an itemized summary. It's not really a summary, it's all the itemization of our billing. And to share with the court, that our billing was reasonable, our rates were reasonable for a case like this.
And your firm, I'm sorry to interrupt, but your firm represented both Ms. Robinson and Cross and Dot throughout the litigation?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you see any issues, by the wrong word, but in terms of allocating, if I find there is liability, Cross and Dot's argument is different from Ms. Robinson's. And so if your firm, I'm making a number up, billed a total of 100 hours collectively, is it easy to suss out these were Cross and Dot hours versus Robinson hours, or they collectively were your client? And so if you or an associate worked for an hour, you were billing it to that billing code, which is both. Because what if, just say hypothetically, I deny relief for Ms. Robinson. She was sued and you know what, it was a good faith legal theory. So there are no 91514 fees owed to Ms. Robinson or counsel, but yes to Cross and Dot.
So that's a fair question. Generally, all the pleadings we filed were as to both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And just based on our summary, it would be hard to divide out what went to Cross and Dot and what went to Ms. Robinson. It's a solely owned LLC. She's the only member. There's not a lot of difference between them. And in our office, we didn't treat them as such. But for the case, I understand there's a distinction here.
Sure.
So from my billing summary, it would be difficult. I can tell you, and I'm happy to state this, I'll certainly say it in my place, but I will tell you that the legal issues concerning Cross and Dot thus far have been simpler.
Yes.
Far simpler. So if there were a situation where you said, hey, Cross and Dot's entitled, Heather Robinson's not, a fair division would probably be to say a quarter.
Okay.
The bill would be Cross and Dot, just based on the complexity of its issue versus Ms. Robinson's.
All right. Understood. And we may not need to get into that space. If there's no award, we don't have an issue. If it's an award for both, we don't have an issue. So let's see where we go, but just know that that may be an area we have to explore. Okay.
And with that, Judge, I'll present a summary.
Great.
So
whatever you're going to give me, you've got copies for Mr. Folsom?
I do.
Great.
I apologize. I misspelled your name on this. I'm sorry about that. So, Your Honor, this is my testimony portion. I've been an attorney since 2002, and I practiced in Atlanta until 2008. And I've had my own law firm since 2008. Kind of primary areas of practice during my career at different points have been employment discrimination, probably until 2008. And then since then, it's been a pretty heavy civil non-domestic fraud, title issues, property, judgment collection, those types of matters, probate litigation. That's primarily where I've focused. A lot of contract disputes, which this arguably falls under the heading of. Ms.
Are you
Robinson's.
involved at all with
I know the one you're thinking of.
with
Capochi and Pergola.
Yeah, that I knew we had tackled a few things before. Okay.
We did. That was a
and
fun one.
pierogi.
It's a strange one.
One of the strange.
Yes.
I'm over here like, what the hell and do?
Yes. Yes.
You know, the
The one that-
Yoshihamas, the ones in Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
So what you're going to see in my summary is that I bill out my time at $400 an hour. Margaret Euler is somebody else who did a lot of work in this
cool.
case. She graduated law school in 2012.
I got live right now. So let's do this.
McGregor. Anthony McGregor. Okay. Okay.
All right, and they just boxed him in there.
He's turning around.
He's got nowhere to go here. Got nowhere to go.
And he.
Pretty clear
Where
shot
did the
there.
police maintenance van come from?
He's got his hands up.
Hands
or
up.
They appear to be up.
It does appear. He's going to have to get his
Although
hands.
he just touched the steering wheel.
Yeah, he's going to have to get his hands up and out.
Opening the door. Closing the
And he
door.
closed it.
Why am I closing the door? What you want me
Yeah.
out?
Well, I'm secretly hoping that he'll
Pointing
try to
up
run.
the
It's
helicopters.
McGregor. It is McGregor.
This is the McGregor exit off 288 northbound.
Rolled the window down and now appears to be putting his hands out the window.
Yeah,
But we've seen this before.
right.
Don't know if he's injured or emotional. We're just not sure what's going on.
Emotional. What the hell?
He needs an emotional support animal.
Yeah. Don't know if he's stressed.
Oh, that banner.
It appears
There you
he's
go.
on his phone again.
He's picked up his phone.
Texting
Okay, someone
Appears he's on
tase
his
him.
phone.
Head all the way back
He's like,
there.
Mama, I got pulled over again.
He's like, quick, Daryl Brooks. What was I supposed to say?
Panting and breathing very hard. We just don't know what's happening. Police moving in,
But they're
bashing in
moving
the
on him.
window.
I see gunfire. They're breaking the glass. They're breaking the glass.
Tasing him.
Yeah.
Police are giving him instructions, but you saw him try to run out of the vehicle.
And
now they're
putting
pulling
the
him
dog
out.
in. They're letting the dog in.
There they go.
There he goes.
They
Who
have him
let
on
the
the ground.
dogs out?
Wow.
Finally in custody. So hard to watch.
It is very hard to watch, and it's very difficult for police to know what he's going to do next, whether he's going to pull a gun, whether their lives are in grave danger, and they are at every moment on a scene like
It is
that.
hard. I didn't get to see the
And
dog
there
get
you
a
have it,
bite
the end
in.
of this chase now that we've
Yeah.
been covering for the better part of an hour and a half
Oh,
here.
depressing.
Once again, if you're just joining us, this
I
all
just
began in
noticed in
Baytown maybe two and a
California,
half
they're like,
hours
"You
ago
could be
with a disturbance
stressed," and
call,
we're
a
like,
report of a
"Bite
man
him."
pistol whipping a woman. That is the man right there, arrested after a long chase that came into town on I-10 down the East Loop southbound and then on the South Loop all the way to Post Oak and back again to Telephone Road, to 288, and then up
McGregor.
on 288, the McGregor exit that's right there.
We are just so grateful that this has ended.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, police now searching him, and because, as you know, they said that he was armed based on the 911 call of him allegedly pistol whipping a woman in Baytown. But
Oh.
this chase has finally ended. I mean, just a few minutes ago, it appeared that the chase was about to end, and he somehow is able to maneuver his way and get around police, continuing on to 288,
Stupid.
where he then exited here
Yeah.
at McGregor. Police boxed him in completely, bashed out the window. He appeared to try to open the door. It got really, really tense at that moment, and police...
They tased him. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, because she
All
said I
right.
saw gunshots, and I was like, "That's not how that works."
Yeah, I didn't see gunshots either. I just, you got to keep up with these kind of things whenever you get those weird kind of things that come popping in.
Oh yeah.
I was like, "Ooh, cool. Car chase. We love them." Let's get back to the
22
How do you spell her last name?
UHLER.
Euler.
Okay.
And her billing rate with my firm is 300 an hour. And then I think I raised that up to 325 an hour at the beginning of 25, or I'm sorry, mid 25. So what you'll see on the billing record is that, the entirety of what we billed, and I actually don't think I have any paralegal time billed here. And in my firm, we regularly bill by the hour and send out bills on a monthly basis. So you will see for each entry what we did, and those entries are made on the dates we do that particular work. And in this case, the work spanned from March of 25 through today, essentially. What you will not see on this billing summary is any work related to having the federal lawsuit dismissed, which we did do. I'll go into that a little bit in my closing, but this is the summary that I've marked as Exhibit 1, and I would move to admit it.
Okay. Mr. Folsom, any objection to me admitting into the record for the purposes of this hearing what we'll call defendants 1?
Any objections to what he just stated?
No, you're going to get a chance to give your perspective on things, but he's got that document. You've got it. I don't have it yet. It's the summary of the billings that Mr. Wilbanks has just explained are associated with the work that his firm has done in connection with representing Ms. Robinson and Cross and Dot. And he is tendering that so that I can see what the numbers are and evaluate those. And so my question is, do you have an objection to that being made part of the record? Okay, great. I will take a copy then, please. Thank you.
Oof. That's an expensive screw up.
And so the amount we're seeking 9/15/14 award for today is $12,517.50.
Okay.
This is why whenever they say you got to cross your I's, dot your T's, this is why you don't screw up. Hey, Tammy, good to see you, Jen. Heather, May, Garcia, Gracie Roberts. See, I hate that they changed all the names up because,
Yeah.
my dyslexia doesn't help because I'm like
No.
Garcia. No, it's Gracie Roberts. Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome, Dangerberry Sports Highlights. Great sports highlights this side of the Mississippi. Hello, adopted dad's coming home tomorrow. That's good to hear. That's good to hear, Tammy. That's very good.
And that is my testimony.
All right. Do you, Mr. Folson, have any questions of Mr. Wilbanks about his qualifications or the billing rates that we've discussed?
I don't have any questions about his qualifications, nor do I have any questions about his billing rates.
Okay. Great. All right. Then I think Mr. Wilbanks has presented what he wants to present. Is there anything you want to present?
Yes.
Oh, I bet he does.
I want to first.
Oh, Lord.
Thank you, Your Honor, for this allowing this hearing.
So good.
I'm Jeremy Folst. I want to give you a little background of who I am. I was the IT director for the Rice Schools. Prior to that, I was the IT manager for Gwinnett County Public Schools for 7 years. I went to this institution and, it ended up being what it is now. I have a tech background. I have a master's in IT, and I currently teach cybersecurity courses at Gwinnett Tech.
Okay, a master's in IT. That makes no sense.
Yeah, wouldn't it be computer engineering?
That's why I'm sitting there going, give me just a second. I'm doing something quick, and because that makes no sense to me. Whenever he said that, whenever I first heard this, I was like, a master's in IT? Is that actually a thing?
I would think that there would be again, I would think, I don't know.
Yeah, because give me a second. Masters in IT. I guess there's a online master in IT. You can get a master's degree in IT from Colorado Technical University, but it's an online master's. Arizona is.
I have a feeling they would accept me.
Degrees. They're all online degrees, which is really weird. So, I mean, sorry, it just seems odd to me, but okay, we'll carry on. Sorry.
I don't have a law degree.
No shit.
I've done a lot of research and a lot of reading to fight on my behalf. And
you did.
I filed what I filed in good faith. Understanding you and your orders, going specifically by the orders that you told me to go by. And so everything that I've done was in good faith based off of what you asked me to do. Since I've been in this situation, due to me being in current litigation, I haven't been able to seek employment for the last 2 years. I'm an IT director, but I haven't been able to find work since then. And so
tell me why that is. Why have you not for a while been able to be employed?
I apply for jobs and then I get the interview, and the interview goes well like it used to before this happened. And then there's no callback, no explanation.
Because what they do is whenever you give your references, they contact your former employer. And they want to know what kind of employee you are. They can't, they can't give out any details, but they want to know a little bit about what kind of employee you are, what kind of, background, if there's been any issues that they need to know about, those kinds of things. And yeah, they're going to, they want to make sure that, for one, if you're going to be working in a school, that you're not wanted for, doing something illegal with children, or that your work product is good. They want to know.
Well, yeah, especially if you're in security. Were there any fraud issues? Were there any, issues
lawsuits?
Yeah.
if you know, and this is something that people don't understand. If you're going into technology field, there's a much higher standard in IT, because you're dealing with digital security. If you're the type of person that's going to, be like Edward Snowden or some crap like that, they probably won't hire you. Like they would I can't think of a single place, because whenever you get an activist in there, they're not going to want to hire somebody that's going to be an activist. And it's not because they're doing anything shady. It's just there's certain personal records. For example, Snowden, whenever he released that stuff, the reason he was so hated over it is because he was giving away, information on people that were active agents in the field. And that put their lives in danger, their families' lives in danger. So that's why people were upset. Not the fact that he leaked this stuff, but what he leaked. He didn't vet anything out, and he leaked personal information. And that's what got him in so much trouble and so hated. And so they're going to want to vet this guy. And if he's having a hard time finding a job, well, fix your shit and stop being a dumbass.
Nation, even Gwinnett County Public Schools, that I left there in good faith after working there for 7 years plus. And what they do to me, what's going on is it's searchable. Jeremy Folsom, it shows up that I'm in active litigation. And so I just had to, even though I have a master's in several certifications and I still teach part-time, I've had to just do what I need to do to take care of my 4 children who are all under the age of 13. And I've been fighting this without representation as a pro se. And my goal is not to do anything that the court doesn't allow, is to follow your orders. And so when I filed, I specifically focused on my understanding of what your court orders state. And
I wish I could. I can't move it from this. There's something funky going on with the thing. I wish I could. Sorry.
Yeah, there was something with StreamYard today too.
I can do this. I can do that if that makes it a little bit easier. There you go. And also I want to say today is someone's birthday, and so I have to wish them a happy birthday. And I told them that I was going to. I have been working on a new birthday song. And Tammy Bugard, happy birthday.
Joyful time, it's your special day. Gather round, we're here to say happy birthday, happy birthday. You're the shining star, let's celebrate you no matter where we are. Tequila and margaritas, party through the night. Cake and candles, the mood is just right. As the candles flicker, make a loving toast to the one we adore the most. Happy birthday.
I love it.
I thought it was awesome, and you got to see that first. Happy birthday, Tammy. That is awesome. Yes, you're the first one to actually get to hear that birthday song. And I put that together. I started on it last night. I was like, I've got it, and my brain is fried. I'm gonna have to finish it tomorrow. So I'm glad you got it. You got it. Happy birthday, Tammy.
So if I'm a little off in my filings, it's because of my lack of understanding of how the system works, because Heather's attorney has an advantage, because of the background. And even though I do know that you dismiss Heather and Cross and Dot, as well as Rise in your first order. And you were kind enough to give me a chance to amend, and I did amend, and you allowed defamation to go forward, even though we're not here for that right now. But the reason I included Heather is because Heather invited me to a meeting to review my contract. She invited me to a meeting to review my contract.
It's not a reason to fucking sue somebody.
The way he says contract, though, is
contract.
No, it's contract.
Contract. That's why I said contract.
That's why I nearly spit out my drink. I was like, oh no.
Ooh, oh yeah. Well, you should have hired an attorney. Well, yeah, because that's the thing. It's going to cost him more because he did not hire an attorney. But here's the reason why he hired an attorney. We'll get to that because it's going to be interesting why he did not hire an attorney. Oh, this is so bad.
And I wasn't able to come because I have a daughter with Down syndrome and she needed to be in the hospital.
What does this have to do with anything?
Yeah, I am confused.
You know, they invited you to sit down and talk about the contract. You said, I'm not going to show up because my daughter clearly is more important than this, which is understandable. But that's not an excuse for, you could have rescheduled it. You could have done any number of things. It seems to me it's just like, well, it seems like he's skipping over a long procession of things that probably led up to them saying, let's sit down and we'll have a talk about the contract. And then you said, well, I'm not going to show up to that because my daughter has Down syndrome. And so she's going to be in a hospital and that's where I need to be. Be like, it seems like he probably was delaying a lot of shit and writing out that contract.
So I wasn't available. And when I did get the information, I spoke with Heather about it and we went from there with it. And so the reason she was brought back up in this situation is because when we got to the point of discovery, I emailed Monica and I asked if it was okay for me to.
Who's Monica?
Monica Niles.
Yes, that's the attorney, Ms. Niles.
I emailed her and asked if it was okay for me to go forward with discovery. And she emailed me back and said, yes, this is okay. And so the reason Heather was included because Lara Sterling was never the one. She's the board chair, but Heather Robinson controlled the contracts. And so Heather Robinson's attorney sent.
That's not a reason to add someone to a fucking lawsuit.
No.
It does. If say, for example, you're going after an entity, you don't add every single person to it. This is the problem that these pros say, attorneys, that's the best way to put it, are screw things up. It's just like, you don't add these people in there. You go for the discovery. There's no problem getting discovery. If you're having a hard time getting discovery, then you go to the judge and say, they're not turning over what I'm requesting. And you have a hearing over it. This is why you pay attorneys to do this shit. God
and they also save you from bringing irrelevant people in. They tell you, no, they're in the meeting, but they don't have anything to do with this. Save yourself some money. Don't put them in.
Right.
Information and discovery, he included the altered contract that was not signed by me. It was missing salary and things of that nature. And so during discovery, I assumed that I had the opportunity to ask for documentation to defend myself. And so I knew Lara didn't have that completely. I knew Heather was the person.
See, he's taking this too personally. And this is another reason why you hire attorneys. Well, I had to get this to defend myself. That's not how it works. You're not defending yourself. You are bringing charges against somebody. You're not defending yourself at that point. You are the aggressor.
Yeah, and the burden is on you. If you bring it, like the state brings charges, the burden's on you.
Yes. oh God, I mean, all you have to do is like spend 5 minutes and you can understand the difference between a plaintiff and a defendant. Defendant sort of says it for itself. You're defending yourself, and you are the plaintiff in this case. That means everybody else that you're bringing into it is defending themselves against you. What a moron.
Because even though Cross and Dot is separate from her individually, they're the same entity. That's her company. She represents Cross and Dot.
No. That is not how it works. There's a reason why people start companies the way they start LLCs, is even if you are the face of it, the LLC, which is the limited liability corporation, those are the people that you would be going after.
Yes.
If you're bringing an individual in on this, for example, if I'm saying, that Mo runs Mo LLC and I bring Mo and Mo LLC in on a lawsuit, that means I am going after both of them. And those are two separate entities altogether. Mo can represent herself. Mo LLC in the state of Georgia cannot represent itself. It has to be represented by an attorney. That is just state law. And the reason why they have that set up is because a corporation has limited liability in certain things, as well as a person has certain liabilities in certain things. You want to make sure that if you're going for something that a company did to you, it's not personal from the person that actually owns or operates the company. Say, for example, you got Mo LLC and your husband operates Mo LLC. He's the CEO. You're not going to go sue the CEO. You're going to go after Mo LLC, and you're going to say, Mo LLC did X, Y, and Z to me. That company operates this car, and they're the ones that ran into me. And you could go after somebody personally, but that's completely different, because if you're the LLC, you've got, it works well because you have a buffer where you're not personally liable for your husband driving the car. That was the Mo LLC car. You're not responsible for, you're responsible for the car, but you're not personally responsible for what happens inside your company.
Yeah.
Jeez, this guy just, because she owns the company, then it's her. No, it's not her.
No, that's not how any of this works.
This guy's an idiot. Jeff should lift himself out of his seat in disbelief. Yes, that's why I'm like, oh.
And so I apologize if I had a lack of understanding, but it's only due to my educational background or me not knowing. And so it was made in good faith. I don't feel like I should be responsible for any attorney's fees. I've been fighting really hard for myself, to advocate for myself and to get some type of victory in this, because it has affected me greatly. I've never been without a job. I've always worked in higher ed. And when you see these things online about me and I'm involved in active litigation, no one wants to deal with any of that. And so I'm forced to.
Maybe it's not that they don't want to deal with active litigation. They don't want to deal with somebody that decides to step out of their lane of what they do.
Yeah. Again, there's a reason that lawyers exist. That's why we have them, because I wouldn't go to a lawyer for tech support. I wouldn't go to.
Exactly. Well, April Fool's, dumbass. Yeah, and each person is, and if this guy is acting like this, I can only imagine the workplace environment, how volatile it will be, because it seems like he just goes on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
It's like, tell me how to hook up the modem. I don't need your take on legal shit.
Well, yeah, also accept no. Sometimes you're just gonna get a no, and it's not gonna they don't have to give you a reason. It's just gonna be a no. And you can give it whatever motive you think it was, but sometimes it's just no.
Yeah, he wants a victory. Sometimes there's winners and there's losers, and you're the loser in this. Take your lumps, move on.
Take positions that I'm overqualified for just to be able to support my family, and including my daughter with disability. And so it's been difficult for me, but I can assure you that everything I've done has been in good faith. To my understanding of the law, being new to this, I've never been in this situation before, and Heather attorneys and Rise attorneys, they have the advantage on me because of their understanding of the law. And so
modem, what is this, 1998? No, it's still called a modem, Wes, even if you have a high-speed internet connection, it is still considered a modem.
Or as Mo likes to call it, the blinky blinky light of the internet.
Exactly. It's still a modem. It doesn't change. As we would call it, it is right before the D mark. Okay. if you've worked at an IP company, you understand what that means. Sorry. Now I'm getting technical.
I just appreciate you for giving me this opportunity to be able to talk and explain my side of it. And so I feel like everything I've done was you gave me an opportunity to amend. And in my opinion, based off of my knowledge, I felt like I needed to include her because she's an important part of the situation when it comes to discovery, right? And so
no,
I did, when I sent the discovery information out, I wasn't necessarily asking Heather's attorney to respond to it, but he...
Yes, you were, you idiot.
Yes, that's... Yes,
God.
Go ahead.
It's like when they launched a guy off of fucking Nakatomi Tower. You know, he's inviting you to the... You just basically launched a guy off a tower, you moron.
Yes.
Also,
yes.
Shizzy, wouldn't it be weird if there were these people, like, imagine if there were these people that... Because law is complicated and not everyone wants to learn it, but there were these people that went to school for a long time and they learned all these things and they had knowledge of like legal stuff, and you could hire them to do like legal stuff for you, and then you never have to see them again.
Yeah. And you pay them, you know, a reasonable rate and they go about their day.
Yeah.
And if they screw up, then you can go after them for screwing up. Like if they add the wrong person and it costs money, guess what? You can go after them and say, you screwed up my case and you owe me money and I will sue your ass for this. And not only that, but I will report you to the bar because you should have known better. I don't know these things. You do. That's why I pay you to do this shit. No. A router is completely different because a router is what routes each individual IP address locally to your devices. So no, a router is completely different. Yes, I know these things. Sorry.
Decided to respond, and he actually presented information that I needed because Rise was stating that they didn't have the information for discovery, but he sent it from Heather, and he demonstrated, and I sent it to you all. I showed a contract that I signed up under my superintendent, and then I showed an alter contract that I had questions about, and when I asked those questions about it, I was pressured to sign. And I said, I wanted a meeting. And
you're never pressured to sign. Either you sign it or you don't. There is nobody waterboarding you to sign a contract.
No.
See, this is such a, and if this is how the guy handles business as an IT professional, I would not want to have him working for me.
No, especially if, again, look, a lot of life is how you handle, hey, you screwed up just a bit. Oh, dang it, that was a me thing. Let me fix it. Or, you know what? I thought I had it right. Could you show me how to do it right again? Let me take notes.
Yeah.
Your attitude is so going to get you either very, little in life or very far in life.
Makes this right. The bartender might have better understanding than this pro se guy. Report them to a bar. What's the bartender going to do? Well, he's going to say, well, did he pay? Or you give me a free drink, one of the two. That's right.
The next thing I realized, I received an email at 9 o'clock at night saying I was terminated because of me asking questions and not playing the game.
No, if you did not sign the contract, or you were being a pain in the ass, or you're being difficult, like here's the thing, in Georgia, and I don't know how it is in other states. In Georgia is a right to work state. Okay. And if you don't know how a right to work state means, they can terminate you without cause. They don't have to give you a reason for termination. They can say you're fired. Simple as that. They don't have to give you a reason. Most places will, because they want you to improve. That's the thing. They're going to say, hey, you didn't put the tires back on the car before you drove it out, so we're going to let you go. Okay. So maybe next time you put the tires on the car. They usually will, but right to work doesn't have to give you a reason for it. Unlike places like Illinois, for example, which are unionized states, which they have a union, and you have to pay dues to those unions. If you try to fire somebody, you have to go through like all of these steps just to do that. And most companies have those in place, even though Georgia's a right to work state. Most companies have those things in place because HR fucking runs the damn companies. So
Yeah.
they usually will have a process of giving you warnings. So that way, if you do come back and you file some sort of suit with the EOC, that you can basically, you
Yeah.
have some sort of recourse. But yeah, Georgia's a right to work state. So tough shit for you, buddy. Maybe you should have stayed in Kansas because that's where all the fucking hurricanes are or something. I don't know.
And so this is why we're here now.
Talk to me a little bit about why you decided to represent yourself as opposed to hiring counsel, or if that was out of your financial reach, talking to legal aid or some organization that might help you.
In the beginning, I knew it was probably out of my financial reach with me having 4 children, young children.
What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, if it is out of financial reach, why are you suing somebody?
Yeah, I guess why not put effort into finding a new job? I don't
because
know.
it's well, and this is what makes no sense. So where people get bound up on this kind of stuff. You got fired from your job. You create a situation by filing a lawsuit where it makes it where employers do not want to hire you because
No.
you're in active litigation over employment. So how about this? Don't sue somebody. Go get another job, unless there's an absolute good reason. And you reach out, you talk to an attorney says, yeah, they shouldn't have fired you. They shouldn't have done that because of X, Y, or Z. Just because you walk with a limp, they don't have any reason to fire you. So let's go ahead and we're going to file suit against it, but you need to go and see if you can find another job in the meantime. And we'll handle this for you. But he gets to why He goes, it wasn't financially good for me. Well, then you shouldn't have brought the suit.
Yeah, that's my thing. What are you hoping to gain?
Easy money, chicks for free.
The problem is I reached out to attorneys. I reached out to 7 different attorneys and no one would take my case.
Do you think it's a sign?
Could it be you?
No, if nobody wants to take his case, there's a big possibility that there is nothing there. Attorneys, if they see, hey, Squid, how you doing? If an attorney will look at a case, if you go to 7 different attorneys and all 7 attorneys are telling you the same thing, I'm not taking your case. You don't have a case. Stop. Then stop. Stop after the 3rd one that says, no, I'm not taking your case. This is not a case. Because attorneys are there to get paid. You look like a financial liability to them. You cannot pay your bills.
Yeah, and especially if you're going to be in a job that's typically, independent contractor, people don't want someone who's going to constantly, they think, okay, when are they going to sue me? How long? They don't want any more. They already think of, a bunch of liabilities anyway.
Yes, and they don't need another liability. They need an employee. Sounds like a certain turtle lady in Florida. Yes, it does.
They felt like being that it is a school, and the sovereign immunity and things that comes with that, it's hard to really win that type of case. So
he's talking about qualified immunity. No, they do not have sovereign immunity. That is not the way it works. If a school does something illegal, they are just as fucking liable.
Yes.
You can't bring what their schools are not allowed to do is very specific things. They have very, very high standards. Even public schools, and as shitty and government run as they are, they still have very high standards for employees and for what you can say, what you can't do. They're very well maintained in that sense. And yes, they will make sure that they cover their asses. And this is why if an attorney's saying, listen, you've got nothing here, fucking move on.
Yeah, listen to them. How much time has he wasted?
Probably over a couple of years in all this.
Yeah.
And hasn't been able to find a job.
Yeah, it's a small community too. If you are going to be in a niche thing like school security, you don't want to get a bad reputation. Now, that doesn't mean if there is legitimately something going wrong in the school, do not be a whistleblower. But if you were kind of a jerk or you didn't listen and you didn't deliver, take it as a learning opportunity.
Yeah. Go back to Columbia online school and figure this shit out.
Attorneys want something that's solid. They want it to be.
Well, they want some evidence that's going to help them out.
Right. And so I try to provide evidence, but when you're new to this, I understand tech. If you ask me, Your Honor, to build a website or to teach you about cybersecurity and all these different things, ethical hacking, that's what I know.
That's your space.
Right. But in this space, I've had to do a lot of reading and research.
So in interesting confluence of what you're calling your space, and we'll call it the legal space, is relying on AI to help with legal briefs. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious, when you submit a brief.
Yeah. He was using AI. In case you didn't get that. To submit a brief.
Yeah, don't do that.
No. No. And I mean, here's the thing. You can have AI point you in the right direction, but this is why you hire a fucking attorney. And I mean, the amount that he's looking at right now is $12,000.
Oh, good Lord. Don't do that.
This is a $12,000 cost. I guarantee you that he could have hired an attorney and that could have done this the correct way and still lost. And it probably would have cost him $5,000-6,000.
Yeah, he just wants to be told, no, it wasn't your fault you got fired. Well, sometimes it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sign it. Say, this is my position. You are, as is Mr. Wilbanks. It's nothing unique to Mr. Folson or a pro se litigant, but anyone who submits something to the court, you sign it. You are saying the stuff above my signature is true and correct. And so if I'm citing to a case, I know that case exists and that case stands for that proposition. So if I cite a case like Kravitz versus Georgia Realty, one, that's a real case. And number two, if you, judge, go read that case, it's going to say, in effect, Folsom's right and Wilbanks is wrong. Mm-hmm. I'd like you to share with me how you navigated the process of relying on AI as a legal partner, but making sure that what you filed wasn't going to be potentially misleading because your motion or your brief cites to a case and maybe there's no such case.
Yeah. This is why, and like I said, Judge McBurney's making a very fine point, and he's being very specific of saying, listen, I want to know your process because you're using AI to do this and you're citing cases. What was your vetting process? Did you read the case and understand what it was about? Did you understand what you were citing? And like he said, here's this specific case. Now, how did you come to the conclusion that this case is exactly what you're saying? You're citing these things, and you're signing your name at the bottom and saying everything that I've said is true and correct. So even if you're using AI to write that for you, the law firm of Grok and Gemini, that's awesome. Yeah, if you're saying that you did that, that means that you did the research behind that. It wasn't just that you typed in to get the outcome that AI is going to give you. And that's the big problem that people run into whenever they're using AI or Black's Law Dictionary or whatever pro se bullshit that somebody might be using to write some sort of law, to write something in a case to get what they want to be proven. It's like sometimes there's the truth and sometimes it's not. And you have to know what the difference is because you signed your name on it saying that you understand the difference between the two. This guy's so stupid.
Yeah.
Right. I appreciate that question. And AI.
I appreciate that question.
Tell me you don't know what you're doing without telling me you don't know what you're doing.
He just brushed off the judge. Like that was just a brush off. I appreciate that question. That is not how you respond to a judge. You don't say, I appreciate that question because you're condescending and it sounds like you're brushing the judge off.
Yeah.
Instead of just going, I didn't understand that, judge. And my mess up. Jeez, what a fool.
Motion or your brief cites to a case and maybe there's no such case.
Right. I appreciate that question. And AI is something, even though it's been around for a few years, it's still relatively new. And so as a cybersecurity professor, I'm not going to rely on AI because I know that I should take AI with a grain of salt. And so when I do dive into that space of AI, I understand it as a grain of salt. So I do additional research. I do additional, I'm trying to train myself to be an attorney as a pro C to fight.
I like him being at Pro C. I would like to see him in all the oceans.
Yes, Pro C. I love it.
Fight for my rights. What happened to me, me never being unemployed,
it doesn't matter. There's a first time for everything. I've been, I worked, what, 20, probably close to 30 years before I was fired from a job, and it was a bitch to find a new one because, well, the housing market just crashed. It was really a fun time. But guess what? I ended up finding one after 6 months of, playing video games. Because I was just like, I'm just taking a break. This is my 6-month vacation. And I went and got another job. And it wasn't the most glorious job in the fucking world. It was basically starting from scratch at the very bottom. But you do what you got to do. I mean, because the company I was for, I was able to receive unemployment for those 6 months. I was still out there looking for a job. I just wasn't really actively, aggressively looking for a whole, I was like, I don't know what I want to do anymore. It's like, this place sucks. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I forgot to send her an invite. Doggone it. We'll get back to this. I'll send her an invite real quick.
I have an impeccable background. Me working for the biggest school district in Georgia for 7 years plus with no issues. I took a chance on Rice to embed the community, to bring my knowledge to that institution. I never worked for a charter school before, so I didn't know the dynamics of, what goes on. And so when I got there and started exposing some things that was going on financially, I became an enemy. And the person that was protecting me, which is my superintendent, they terminated her, and I was next. And so I was forced and pressured.
I don't understand how any of this could be solved with a civil lawsuit.
No. Look at this. We're not allowed to use any built-in AI tools at work. We can fart around with ChatGPT, which we broke one day with a ridiculous question, but that policy forbids us using AI software tools. Exactly. And that's it's fine if you want to do this kind of crap on your own time, forced and pressured. Well, it sounds like, he was in a situation where he didn't want to be. Whenever you're saying forced and pressured, then that's not a place you want to be. If you're feeling forced and pressured to do something, then get the fuck away from there. Go somewhere else. Just go ahead and terminate your contract and get a job elsewhere. These are the things that you weigh, pros and cons of employment. I worked for a really good company. Worked for Honda, for an independent dealership, and I was very happy with my job. It wasn't like I was dissatisfied with it. I liked the people that I worked for. I liked the people that I worked with. And whenever I was making the decision to leave, it wasn't because I didn't like the company. I had no hard feelings towards them or anything. It was just like, I'm moving on to something better. My hands are not what they used to be. I'm having a hard time even gripping, a wrench, mostly 10 millimeters, working on Hondas. You get a lot of them. It was that I wanted to change up my life a little bit, and that's what I did. And also I saw that there was an opportunity to make more money doing something alongside my wife where I wouldn't be, exposed to extreme heat, extreme cold. I could sit down for a while. I've been on my feet for, 50 years, whatever. It's like, I'm done. I'm ready to move on to a different chapter of my life, even if it's going to be a short one. And that's what I did. And I was very cordial with all my employees. I even go back there and have my car serviced whenever I want to have service done. I like the people. I like everything about it. And they actually offered, whenever I came back one day, they were just like, hey, did you want to come back? We're looking for a new shop foreman. I'm just like, yeah, I don't think you can pay me enough. I make too much money right now. So thank you very much, but no, I'm good. It's we have a Honda out of Maryville, Ohio. No one drives any other brand of vehicle in that 25 square mile radius. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, and that's sort of the way that it goes. If you've got a good dealership and good trained mechanics at a dealership, they are going to thrive. It's the same way with in a school system. If you've got like your qualified teachers, your IT, your superintendents, your supervisors, the superintendent that he's talking about got fired. Why did that superintendent get fired? The one that was protecting him, she got shit canned. She's no longer there.
Yeah.
It might tell you a little bit about something that maybe he was too buddy with her. And she might have been too buddy with other people. And I don't know the whole situation. I'm just making a wild guess here. And maybe they saw that she was making some really bad decisions, as pointed out by man above us.
Over and over to sign a fraudulent contract. And I told Heather and I told Lara, I said, I need to have a meeting to discuss this. And they ignored me and they said, no,
you lied right there, because you said that they had a meeting to discuss it, but you had other obligations. You wanted to be with your daughter. You know, it's like you setting up a meeting and then not showing up to it is completely different. You fucking garbage person. I hate that.
You sign it or else. And I said, I won't sign until I have a meeting.
Lacey, you got a link.
When I get home, after I pick my disabled daughter up, I come onto an email that stated that you've been terminated without any.
Do what?
Well, so that's one of the things that irks me. She's your daughter, not your disabled daughter. I get why he's trying to use that. I don't like it.
I've always hated that.
Yeah.
I mean, when anytime, you know, I can understand that you know, there might be situations, but trying to like use them as a shield is just absolutely horrible. And
yeah, I don't like that at all.
Welcome, Miss Lacey. How are you?
Hi. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, definitely. So what are you thinking? This guy cool?
I just came in, but I'll tell y'all, I got in 2022, I was driving my Honda CRV and I got, some lady ran a red light, hit me, and from Geico, they paid me nearly $20,000 for my totaled Honda. Like it kept its value, and it was it was like 8 years old. We were shocked.
No.
They're good cars.
Hondas actually do keep their value, surprising enough. We had a Honda that our shop foreman was driving. It was a brand new 2019. I think that's right. A brand new 2019. Hadn't even been released to the public. It was one of the first ones out, fully loaded. And he would drive it back and forth to work. And part of it was for testing, but it was also something that the company did for him. And this lady rear-ended him so hard that she pushed the bumper into the back seat. That's how hard.
Oh my gosh.
Now that car was what they did. Our body shop was so damn good that they paid, I think it was something like, and this was probably a $35,000 car. They paid, I think it was about $29,000 to rebuild the car. What they did is they went and they basically redid the entire back end, all new supports, repainted the car. This car, you could never tell that it was an accident.
Wow.
They used all genuine Honda parts. Like the only problem with places like Geico is they expect body shops to use. They won't use OEM parts.
Yeah.
They tell them do not use OEM parts to repair this. This is why I hate body shops so much. But they ended up fixing this car up, and they put it out, and they put it up there, and they ended up selling that car at market value. And what they did is they disclosed to the lady, they said, listen, this car has been in an accident. Here is the accident. They showed her all the damage. They showed pictures of what it looked like before. They showed pictures of the work in progress, and they showed her pictures after. And I think she was just like, it looks absolutely fine to me. I'll take it. Like, she was absolutely happy to own the car, even though it had been totaled. That's how good a work that these guys did. I mean, it wasn't just like they went in, they just slapped some parts on it. That thing was in our shop for, I think, about 6 months while they were doing the work.
Yeah, it takes some time. Now I have to ask, this looks like Cleveland. Is this Cleveland?
No, this is Georgia.
Oh, this is Georgia. Where this case is out of?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. It has the same setup, just so you guys know, a future reference. It has the same setup as Cleveland.
It's Cleveland.
Court. So I was like, oh, are we talking about Ohio?
No, this is actually Georgia. This is Judge Robert McBurney. He is probably my favorite judge in Fulton County. He's actually a really, really solid judge and pretty damn fair. If you ever get a chance, I mean, he has a whole YouTube channel. But, most of it is just trial stuff. It's, he's a Superior Court judge there in Fulton County. And he is one of the most nice reasoning, and he explains it to especially pro se litigants. He explains himself very well. And he doesn't spend a whole lot of time. He does it in a very good layman's terms to make it easy for people to understand. And he's just a solid judge. I would hate to see the day that Judge McBurney has to leave. And I hope that his replacement is just as good as he is, because he's just a great guy. Just absolutely great. I've never seen him like lose his cool or do anything outrageous. He's usually very just chill. I like this guy. But yeah, this guy's an idiot.
Type of reason. And I still didn't understand the email. And I went to work regardless, seeking Heather, trying to find out some information from her. And I worked the whole day. And I still didn't know if I was terminated or not, because I was having meetings as usual. And it was just the weirdest thing to me. And so what I'm telling you today is, I go by what you tell me when it comes to my understanding. It's not AI, it's not whatever. It's me making a real good faith effort to do exactly what the judge tells me that I am able to do. And I don't want to be taken advantage of for my lack of knowledge when it comes to this. Not talking about Mr.
This is why you hire an attorney. You don't want to be taken advantage of, you hire an attorney.
This is why I couldn't be a judge, because at what point are you going to get to your point? Like, I don't care about your feelings. I don't care that I would like to know your daughter's name instead of the disabled daughter. But other than that, I've not been paying attention, because this has nothing to do with anything I can do anything about.
But Judge McBurney, I've seen him take really great patience and people that are pro se. Which is much to, it shows that he is very, very compassionate.
Yeah.
And he's very patient with them. He wants to make sure that every bit is heard. And he also will not put up with bullshit. Like, but he lays them down like in such a nice way. It's beautiful.
Will Banks, but he's an attorney. He's a smart attorney. He's used to this. I'm not in courts. I'm in computer rooms. I'm providing support. I'm teaching and mentoring, right? So this is a foreign space to me, and I'm trying to do the best I can with the limited knowledge that I have regarding how this works. And so, again, it was made in good faith. Whatever errors was made on my behalf, I do apologize. But it was made in good faith, and I feel like I shouldn't be responsible for attorney fees. $12,000.
Oh, that's cute.
It was made in good faith. I don't think I should be responsible for attorney's fees.
Wow, capitalism doesn't exist.
Oh, so you know, let me lay this down to you there, Mr. Jones. So whenever I hire you to come, you know, fix my fuck up on my, you know, internet problem, and it turns out that I just downloaded a virus. You know, because I'm stupid, I shouldn't be charged extra for you, you know, to fix the, you know, removing that
Good way to
virus.
put it.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, of my stupidity, I'm just, you know, I'm just a mechanic. What do I know about fixing computers? I know nothing about fixing computers. So, you know, why should it be my responsibility? Why should you charge me to remove the virus that would fix all my internet problems? No, you shouldn't charge me any extra for that. I you know, you explain it to these people like this, and then they still will go, but it's $12,000. Yeah, but you know, it's what, 600, 300 to remove a virus off my computer.
You can't rationalize with irrational people. I learned that. Thankfully, I learned that at a very young age.
Oh, and later tonight, Lacey will be doing her OnlyFans. She's got her setup behind her, as you can see.
Oh wait! Oh my God! This is actually a great opportunity. I didn't think I'd get to show anyone my sexy socks that I got from the dollar store.
Socks.
It says, they say, ready to flamingo.
Flamingo. You better be careful showing your feet. You're going to get some weirdos out there.
I was about to say
Wes.
your sub count is going to go way up, but it's going to be a weird growth.
Wes is like, did you try turning it off and turn it back on again? Oh God.
$1,000+ and when I'm already struggling financially to support my family.
Not my problem.
Yeah, no.
How do you think that he makes his money? So you're telling me that you shouldn't pay him? You've fucking wasted his time. You've wasted his client's time, but yet because you're struggling, that means that I should
all
struggle.
have to struggle.
Oh yeah, let's do the struggle snuggle.
Missouri loves company.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's shameful. It's hurtful to me that this is even a situation.
Good.
Okay.
As
Well,
it
I
should be.
appreciate that perspective. I think it's important for you to understand, and you probably understand if I'm going to share it, a few other things to keep in mind as you're balancing all of this. It is not good for business for Cross and Dot to be sued. Someone can go online and say, what's Cross and Dot? Look at that.
Oh, and here's where he lays it down. This is why I like McBurney. He says it in such a nice way, because he's going to point out, oh, it doesn't look good for Cross and Dot to be sued because people do a search for what's Cross and Dot. And guess what? You know,
They're being sued. I don't think I want to have them as my business partner. Why are they being sued? And if they were being sued wrongfully, not meaning that you were out to get them, but because you didn't know better, because you chose not to hire an attorney and you threw their name in there, I, as a potential business partner of Cross and Dot, have no way of knowing, it was a rookie mistake by a non-lawyer. So there are costs and consequences to the decisions you made, even if they were made in good faith. Yeah. And so the system is designed to weigh that as well. I don't come into this thinking that you had a vendetta and you're dragging everyone in, and you would have named more people in the lawsuit. Because we get pro se litigants who just look for every name on the distribution list and like, I'm going to sue all these people. And then they start suing the judges as well. We see it real quickly. I didn't like that ruling, and now I'm adding Judge so-and-so to this lawsuit. Mm-hmm. And then we amongst ourselves realize we got to wall this person off, because every time they hear the word no, then they're going to sue that judge as well. And that ends very poorly for that litigant. And I'm not putting you in that category, but...
But he just did in the most glorious way. But just because you don't like the word no.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yes. This is why I love McBurney. He is so good with this.
There is a very real consequence for the people on the other side of the V. You mentioned that people look you up online and they see you're in active litigation. They're all lawsuits that you initiated. Not that you shouldn't have, but of course you started them.
Yes.
The people on the other side may have done things that in your mind merit being sued, but they didn't start that litigation. They have made decisions that I better get a lawyer. First of all, an LLC cannot represent itself. So Cross and Dot being sued, if they want any legal protection at all, they have to hire someone.
Yep.
Ms. Robinson could have decided to represent herself, and then it's pro se versus pro se. Those are always entertaining for a judge. But Ms. Robinson didn't. She hired counsel, and so it was for Robinson and Cross and Dot. But the moment you name Cross and Dot as a defendant, there are public relations issues for that entity because of the digital world we have today.
Yes.
And there is a legal expense because they cannot file an answer without having an attorney. They have to pay someone to file that answer.
Right. I do have something I want to add.
Okay.
And maybe you're aware of it already, but it's a parallel lawsuit. I have a federal and state, right?
Oh, God.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, federal and state. So he didn't just file one lawsuit, he filed multiple lawsuits.
Great.
No.
No.
Whole thing.
And he's doing it all pro se.
Oh, good Lord.
Now, I can tell you what will happen whenever somebody files a lawsuit pro se, and they file too many lawsuits, especially in Georgia. What they will do is they will put a block on people that file something. They can file it, and what will happen is the clerk will actually forward that over to a judge, and a judge will decide whether the case has any sort of merit before they'll even accept it.
Oh, wow.
Especially if they get marked down like that. And Georgia is very protective of that. And one of the reasons why they do that is because of so many pro se litigants coming in and filing things, not liking the answer. And that's what McBurney's talking about, because McBurney's been involved in a lot of this stuff early on in his career. Hey, traveling fools, good to see you, brother. The way that they do it is they basically, if you file and what'll happen at the end of that case, especially if you become a real difficult litigant, what they'll do is they will make sure that gets referred to everybody within that chain. It'll go Superior Court, local, everything. And what they'll do is if you file something, it will get sent to a judge, and a judge will determine whether they'll accept that filing or not. They do not play, especially if you get to that level. That means that you are a real pain in the ass to deal with.
Yeah.
You couldn't take no for an answer. You're like a high school football player.
You're on a list.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's just coded in. I don't know the details behind it, but I know it's coded in there. Whenever somebody like that files, their name is on a list, it gets coded up. And you say, nope.
I'm on a lot of lists, so yeah.
Well, yeah. It's usually a waiting list.
And so the EEOC investigated thoroughly when it comes to my ADA rights, and they agreed with me and provided me with a right to sue letter regarding Cross and Dot and Heather. And so that case is still active and pending.
The Wilbank said he was going to talk about that too, so it's good you're talking about it. But of course, that's not a state court lawsuit.
Right, and I know in this, what I want to say to you personally, I appreciate the process in all of this. Me learning, me understanding things that I didn't know before. It makes.
And I can feel it coming already. Well, you should probably go to law school. And I as much as I know, I bet I should go to law school. It's coming. I'm telling you.
Oh, Lord,
they take this as, you don't realize this isn't an online course, buddy.
This is your calling in life.
Yeah.
You should do it.
You should absolutely do it. Please. No, seriously, go and go to law school. Go rack up those student loan bills and realize that whenever you get out of law school, you'll be lucky if you can actually even handle a car accident. Okay, especially if you have an attitude like this guy does. Generally, nobody's going to want to fucking hire you. because you're going to come in there, you're going to think you know everything that somebody's been practicing law for 25 fucking years.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to listen whenever they tell you can't file that, you can't do this. There's a reason, and you see it all the time, especially with attorneys where they get out of law school and they open up their own firm, and within a few years they are being called in front of a grievance committee. They're being, they're being sued for malpractice, all kinds of shit, because they fucking did. They did not have.
They did it wrong.
Right. They didn't have a mentor to actually teach them the right and wrong way to do things. And, people go, well, that's part of the, good buddy system or whatever they call that shit. I don't know what it's part of some cabal or some crap like that. It's like, no, you have to understand that all these attorneys know each other for a reason. Yep. And they know whether you're a shitty attorney, they know whether you're a good attorney. And I say this because my wife was in some like a situation where she had to call some expert witnesses, but she had a hard time getting expert witnesses because she has a very niche type of law that she practices. Okay. And there's maybe 30 people that practice it really well. And there's probably about 10 that are like top of their game. Okay. And anybody can do the law that she does, but she's got an advantage because she has been doing this for so long. She had somebody that had been doing it much longer than her that taught her, and another person had been doing it and taught her. So she took all of that, and one of those people she brought in to have come and testify. Now, whenever she did, she was just like, this is why it's reasonable. The reason why this guy wants to charge X amount of dollars is unreasonable. And even the attorneys that came in and were talking about it, and you have to understand, one of them was head of the bar for that part of her niche expertise. He was the one that was the like top dog in that field. And he's going, what it looks like to me is that he's not that he's inflated his hours or inflated his billing, but he had a learning process to go through because this is a very finite area of detail that not too many attorneys understand. So he had to learn all of this on the fly. And so whereas, my wife, for example, she's not a criminal litigator. And for her to take on a criminal case and handle a criminal case, she would have to know a lot of things that she doesn't know.
Right.
It's, law is not a be all end all. She can read the pleading. She can understand the law behind it and the language. But to understand why you would want to apply this in any situation, she doesn't have that skill. So she wouldn't do that kind of law. Sorry, and this guy is not an attorney whatsoever, but he's wanting to jump into the civil litigation, and Judge McBurney's just giving him the riot.
Yeah.
So beautiful. I love Judge McBurney.
I appreciate what you do and what he do even more so, because I understand. I feel like it's a course that I've been in, fighting this lawsuit. And I'm struggling financially, but I am being an advocate for myself and my family. I know what happened to me shouldn't have happened. And I understand what you said about crossing out instances, but the way I look at it, dealing with Heather while I was there, in the way she said, you need to come to me to sign this contract. And I told her my daughter had to go to the hospital, right? It was a conversation, and I wasn't there for it. But when I did speak with her, I told her, I said, Heather, why is my salary not shown on this? And so going back to discovery that was allowed, I emailed Miss Monica Niles and I said, okay, Ms. Niles, I read the judge's order, but I want to make sure that I go by what the judge is telling me. And I want to make sure I understand, since I have a lack of education when it comes to being an attorney. And she emailed me back and she told me, she said, you have every right to go into discovery. Discovery closed at this time. And so this is what brought Heather and Cross and Dot back into the picture. It was me knowing that Heather was the HR consultant and she had that information. If you look at the discovery input from Rise and from Heather, you will see that Rise mentioned that they didn't really have anything, but Mr. Wilbanks was nice enough to send me the information that I was seeking, which was the Ultra contract, which was the basis of why this all started. Even though that was dismissed, he think that even though you told him that it was already dismissed. And so even he had understanding that they were out of the case, but he volunteered that information. And I'm thankful that he did, right? And I included it in my motion to compel, and you responded to that already, right? And so what I'm asking for is some understanding of me being a pro-C and me trying my best to...
Not pro-lake, not pro-pond, pro-sea. Not ocean, sea. Pro-sea.
This is too much talking. This is too much. I would have already had the bailiffs take him out. I'm like, no, just no.
Oh no, he's letting him wind. He's letting him wind up because it'll come here shortly.
Let him come.
Meet deadlines to make sure that whatever you tell me in your order, we execute.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. The other thing I had wanted to mention, besides the impact that bringing a lawsuit has on the people on the other side of that lawsuit, is a partial response to your observation that you've made several times that you're just a pro se litigant, you're new to this, you don't know all the rules, et cetera. And I agree with all that. And I appreciate that. That gives you some leeway, especially when it comes to filing a complaint and trying to articulate what your claim is. It's one of the reasons why the defamation claim wasn't dismissed, that you were given a chance to flesh it out a little bit more. But the law is also clear that pro se litigants are still governed by all the same rules and regulations. There's not the easy set of rules for someone without a lawyer and the complicated set of rules for someone with a lawyer. One set, and it applies to everyone. So
that is what needed to be said.
Yes,
right there.
Right there.
Yes.
I mean, and like I said, Judge McBurney's really good with pro se litigants because he explained to him just exactly what it is. There is no set of rules that makes you any special. You still have to follow the same rules. Now
It's a full sentence, right? Yeah, that in and of itself.
We'll give you leeway to amend something. We'll allow you to amend something to correct a mistake because you didn't know because you're a pro se. But whenever the final ruling comes down, it's the same rules that you have to abide by that every other person has to abide by.
Praise Jesus.
I love Judge McBurney.
Well, and there's a reason everyone tells you, do not do this pro se. Just get a lawyer, go to legal aid. See if there's a paralegal that can help you write things.
Pay that $5 extra on your paycheck if you work for a corporate organization to have the legal aid. It's the best money you will ever spend, I promise. Yes. Or if you're in college, you also have that option. I used it maybe twice.
But still, it had helped you out in whatever situation that you needed to use it for.
They were lease, for an apartment.
Yeah.
Yep.
Planting palm on forehead. Exactly. Leather May. I think his ship sunk and he's holding on to the top of the crow's nest. No, I think he's holding on to a life preserver that is waterlogged right now.
Yeah.
He's not got much longer to go.
Rules that prohibit someone from bringing a lawsuit against a party, just naming them in the lawsuit, but then not making any claims against them. That applies just as much to Mr. Wilbanks if he did it as it does to you. That may seem a little unfair to you because you'd say, well, how was I supposed to know that? And one answer is, well, it's out there. I mean, it's not hidden. It's in a law book. It's in a statute somewhere. I don't assume you know it. I don't assume that all the lawyers know it, but there's a way to research it. And it's one reason why people decide in the end to get a lawyer, so you can avoid hitting some of the potholes that are out there.
Right.
And a good lawyer is swerving left and right because, there's a legal pothole, but here's something you can do to not crash your car right there.
Yes.
And you, because you're very intelligent and learned in other spaces, you're kind of driving like you have an eye patch on one eye and your other eye is a little blurry because it's just new territory for you. And so you are bound to hit some of those potholes that a lawyer would know or be able to see and say, I'm going to turn to the left so we don't hit that pothole. And that's just the unfortunate reality. You know, people like to say, lawyers, what do we need lawyers for? You are coming to experience what we need lawyers for.
Right.
We don't need them to wash our dishes or to bake a cake. They're probably bad at both those things. But when it comes to filing a lawsuit that doesn't blow up in your face,
I think he watches Broken Baker. I think he watches Broken Baker. He watches Broken Baker. I knew it. I knew it.
Oh,
Broken Baker, he's a fan of yours.
That makes sense.
It does. We don't need him to bake a cake, but we need him to represent you in the court of law.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Love this guy.
a lawyer can be a helpful partner in that process.
And I begged, I can send you emails.
I said 7 lawyers, and they said, no, thank you.
I didn't understand why they didn't want to take the case. I knew I was done wrong.
Maybe you don't have a case.
That's the point that he missed. You don't have a case, and this is why you're losing $12,000.
Because I told one attorney, I said, I thought I signed the contract when the superintendent was there, and they got rid of her, and they wanted me to sign an alternate.
You got it too, the contract?
Contract.
Contract?
It's like cataract, but contract.
Yes, it's a cataract, except it's down lower.
I can't sign it to my phone because I'm laughing too much.
Contract. And I sent him the contract, and he said that he wasn't able to take my case. Yep. And then I called next one, and the next one I said, okay, something needs to be done about this, because all I brought, like I shared with Lara, one of the first projects that I was able to complete once I got there was a network and infrastructure project where I saved the school district 160.
Infrastructure.
Is he drunk too?
Yeah. No, he's.
I'm wondering if it was like Georgia or, like Georgian beer as like Moscow mules. I don't know.
No, it's Georgia. He's having issues, with the English language.
Okay, all right. God bless.
It's you get used to it. I know that I have.
$60,000, and my heart was in it. My heart was in it. I still don't understand what happened. All I can do is, I didn't want to represent myself. I wanted an attorney. But they wouldn't take my case, and it really wasn't explained to me why. Mm-hmm. So I'm a Scorpio personality. I'm a fighter. I'm an advocate. I'm used to being an advocate for my children. My daughter with Down syndrome, fighting for her IEPs, making sure, I'm checking with the teachers and the counselors and making sure she's getting the support that she needs. And so I'm used to being an advocate. Never did I want to disrespect the court. Never did I want to do something that wasn't allowed. Based off of my understanding of your order, I assumed that it was accurate. I assumed that everything that I've done based off of my research, because I'm not the type that, I'm going to type this up and send this. No, I researched it hours spent. He mentioned attorney fees. I don't have an attorney, so I can't say that. But if you knew the amount of time that I put into this. It
doesn't matter the amount of time you put into it. It matters the quality of work. I could spend, 10 hours trying to, what's something that I can't do?
Write a book.
To write, there you go. I could, well, I might be able to do
Okay,
that.
but for real, like publish a book. Like we are gonna need some help, right?
Yeah. Like, yeah, I could spend hours doing all the research on how to publish a book, or I could hire somebody to publish the book for me.
If it doesn't take your face and your voice and your unique skills, that's what my CEO of Senegens taught me from like day one. And she's like, just send it out. Just have someone else do it.
Yes.
I've spent a lot of money, but it makes sense. Like,
yes.
I've also saved so much time and personal grievances. Like,
yeah, let them handle all that shit. And then, then they have to deal with all of the fallout on it.
Your life is so much easier.
But what this guy does not understand. And he's just like, but you don't understand how much time I spent on that. Is a you problem, buddy. That is your problem. You should have known that an attorney could have navigated this, and now you're going to be paying $12,000 in attorney's fees.
And sometimes situations you just don't win. You got fired. Maybe the new school board doesn't like you.
I love this, Levy. He is fluent in Fulton.
I saw that too. That was really good. That was really good.
Levy knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it's so does Fools. Fools knows exactly what I mean.
I didn't want to point it out. I don't want to discriminate.
Discriminate.
Hours on top of hours learning. My background is information technology.
We know.
Learning.
Your daughter has Down syndrome.
Learning Heather's lawyer and Lyra's lawyer, just putting so much time in. My spouse asked me, she said, are you, do you need to take a break from this? I said, I can't. I mean, I'm an advocate for myself. I have to at least.
Yes, but that's not going to pay your bills.
You know what his wife said? Said, you are spending so much time on this, go get a fucking job.
Yep.
Because, me over here doing everything I can to support this family while you're sitting here writing shit with fucking AI.
Googling laws. Like Kim Kardashian trying to pass the fucking bar exam.
Until 3 o'clock in the morning. You've been up till 3 o'clock in the morning. How are you going to go look for a job whenever you're exhausted?
Yeah.
I mean, I could imagine that his wife, he could get flawless. Yeah. No, I don't think he could even get a job at the varsity. If you've never been to the varsity, then you would understand that they actually listen and pay attention. Okay. This guy does not listen. He does not pay attention. He thinks he's better than other people around him.
Fight. Yeah. I have to at least fight. And so I don't understand why Mr. Wilbanks, I don't understand why we're here now asking for attorney fees. I'm already struggling as it is for being.
Doesn't matter. You lost. This is why they're asking for attorney's fees. You lost.
Take a seat.
Sit.
I worked for 2 years for the first time in my life. With me being a sole provider for my family. Me not
So he's sole provider for his family.
So they're on government assistance because his wife isn't working. She's probably taking care of the daughter and whatever else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I feel for him, but dude, this is a situation you put yourself in.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. And here's the thing. Okay, so you were the head of IT, at this job. You might have to suck it up and be a new guy in IT. You're not going to be the head of a department.
Yep. And you will have to work your way up. But if you're this good at your fucking job, you will work yourself up in no time.
Exactly.
I mean, that was the thing. I went into Honda and I had to start at the bottom. Like we're going to have you change some oil, do some oil changes. And then it was just like, have you ever done brakes before? Yes. Okay, well, here's a set of brakes. And
Did you wear the white suits that they make the Honda employees wear, the all white suits
God,
in
no.
Mansfield, Marysville? Yeah, okay.
No white suit. My suit would have ended up black before the first
They
day.
all wear just like a one-piece white suit, like they work in a lab. It's mystifying to me.
Well, yeah, we had a guy that would wear one of those, and he usually was just like, I don't know why you're doing that, because you're going to be crawling up inside of an engine.
Right.
Like within the first week, I was rebuilding engines. I mean, but that was the thing, is they wanted to make sure that I could do some of the simple things like check the oil.
So it's like hiring a specialty surgeon, but you start them off with a appendicitis and make sure that they still remember the most basic surgery that you learn in med school. And I think that's so important.
But man, this guy sucks.
Understanding how mortgage is going to be paid continuously, and me needing to pay my car note and other things that I have going on. And so,
not my problem.
I'm still pushing because I know they look me up when I'm applying. I know what's going on with this, but these attorney fees, $12,000 on top of what I'm dealing with, it's crazy. To me, it's crazy. But trust and believe, I didn't come into this wanting to represent myself. I just didn't get the help that I need. I can literally show emails of me begging, like, could you please just look at this? Could you look at that?
That's not good.
And it was such a dismissal. And that's when I realized I'm not going to receive any help. I have to represent myself to the best of my ability, understanding that I have that right, understanding that you are the judge, you have your orders, you're clearing your orders. It's just that it wasn't willful ignorance on my part. It's just a lack of understanding of the procedures. And so.
Wrong. It is willful ignorance. Yeah. You had attorneys telling you don't have a fucking case, and you decided to pursue this anyway, pro se.
Well, yeah. And here's the thing. It works in streaming too. Yeah, I had to start out with streams that had 1 or 2 people watching. You start out with 1 or 2 people. You don't start out with Ricada numbers. You slowly build. And then maybe, you have a case that everyone likes your opinion, and then the next case comes along and they're like, well, we liked you in this case, but you don't think like us in the other case. And you're like,
or you go on vacation. And when you are peaking in your streams and you go on vacation, you come back and you have 0 views. That's in my case. It's a learning curve.
Yeah.
And it's a hurry up and wait. And sometimes you'll have times where you have a bunch of people and then you don't. And it's just learning to roll with that. And
I never wore any of my AOC patches. There was just no point in it. I mean, they gave them to me, but I said no. I said no.
No.
And I tried getting the only problem was they had my real name. Like I worked at a tire shop where I told them my name was Lloyd, and with 2 L's. And so I had a shirt that said Lloyd on it. It was awesome.
I like that.
It was so cool. It was like Lloyd, and I was like, yep.
I'm Lacey.
I couldn't get away with that at Honda. They had my name already up there. I was like, damn it.
Dang it.
Bastards. It's like, yeah, we just pulled up your employment record. Wait. Oh, well.
I feel like I deserve some type of grace as a proceed, even though you have the law, you have procedures. But, if you look at the history of this case and what I've done and not done, I've tried my best to meet deadlines. I tried my best to do what I need to do. So you can have what you need to make an informed decision.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. And I have no doubt you've worked very hard at this. It's got to take you more time to do step 1 than a lawyer who's done step 1 100 times before. So you're learning a lot. Maybe you now want to go to law school.
I do, to be honest with you.
Oh,
Good.
Lord.
Well,
I told my friend, I said, you know what? I
Oh,
think
God, no.
even though I'm in IT, I have a master's in it, and I currently teach at Gwinnett Tech. I love teaching. I teach part-time there, but it's like learning about this process and understanding it. I said, you know what? I should have been an attorney.
Well, it's never too late. Let me hear from Mr. Wilbanks. I know he wanted to present a closing since he's the movant.
See how he shut him
He
down
wanted to hear
nicely?
it. Say those words.
He's much nicer than me because I'm like, no, I'd have been like, after we made the first round of, I work hard, I don't have any money, I'd have been like, I've heard this before. Stop the train.
Well, and here's the thing.
Openings in Fanny's office. I saw that comment.
You'll get yourself an education. I love this. Oh, yes, he could go work in Fanny's office.
So I would like to hear from you, Mr. Wilbanks, if there's anything you think needs to be added.
I appreciate that, Judge. I won't go on very long here. As Mr. Folsom was talking, I was kind of reminded of a story that our pastor told maybe annually, a flood and a guy whose house the water was rising and somebody comes by in a rowboat and the guy's like, no, I don't need your help. God's going to save me. Goes up to the second floor. There's a bigger boat. No thanks. God's going to save me. He's on the roof. Helicopter comes by. God's going to save me. Obviously he drowns. And he gets to the pearly gates. He's like, I thought you were going to save me. And St. Peter says, we sent you 2 boats and a helicopter, man. When you talk to 7 attorneys and they say, this is too hard, to me, that's the sign. I have no doubt. I have no doubt about your good faith.
You've never heard that story?
No.
Oh,
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great.
It is such an old story. I was like, oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah. Send him 2 belts and a helicopter. What'd you expect? He just
none whatsoever. And this isn't to attack him, but part of the 91514 statute that I think is important here, and it's under subsection A, is there's got to be reasonable belief. I don't think with what he filed, I see evidence of necessarily a reasonable belief that what he was doing should have been done. And as you said, judges and attorneys kind of have an understanding about pro se people. That's why when he wants discovery, I'm not going to stand on formality. I'm not going to make him send me a formal third-party request. I'm just going to send him the documents because he can get them. I'm not going to make his life more difficult. I'm not going to make my life more difficult. But at the same time, we didn't file this motion until he tried to add us back in this case, somewhat informally. And there's also the federal case. And really, when I'm talking about reasonableness, to me, that's the best evidence. And he talks about the federal case as though it's a plus. It supports his position here, where every attorney knows you don't sue somebody for the same thing in 2 different courts.
Yes. And this is the thing. Like, he's like, oh, this supports my case. And I see this stuff, and I've been seeing it much more recently. It's just like, look, there's this going on over here. Well, that doesn't support your case, unless they're 2 entirely different cases whatsoever. And you're trying to throw this in there like it's proven a point. It's one of those things you may not understand what SEO is, and it's something that you can change on YouTube. You can use Google to change your SEO, and you see people do this all the time where they'll start writing a whole bunch of untruths about themselves. And what happens is Google takes about 3 months to change that SEO. And what it does is you can write something that's untrue and amplify that multiple times over and have it linked to other places that amplify it. What it'll do is it will change Google's algorithm to make it think that this is true when it's not. For example, if I were to say that Lacey has green hair, and I just keep posting this over and over, and I put links bouncing back to each other's links saying that Lacey has green hair. If you did a search after 3 months and said what color is Lacey's hair, it would come showing up that it's known that Lacey has green hair. And it's not true, but that's the way that you change SEO. That's why Google has created that, to have things that are out there and get pushed over and over again to have that. And that's there's people that use this to manipulate the court system, and then they'll bring this into court and say, look, this is what Google says. You do a Google search for my name and it says X, Y, or Z. And this is why it is so bad to use something like that. And because it's new technology, courts don't understand this kind of thing. And to try to break through that barrier, because courts, and the federal government in general is always going to be about 3 years behind everything that is up to date in technology. So, but you expect that, think about the audio in this place. The audio is absolutely horrible. In 3 years, they'll probably have audio like we have now.
Lapel mics.
Yeah. They'll have shotgun mics set up and they'll have much better audio in there. But, their technology, 3 years ago, this would have looked fucking perfect.
Yeah.
That's a very basic thing. I have a lot of respect for IT professionals. And that's a reason I would never try and be my own IT professional, because of what an expensive problem I can create. And however sympathetic Mr. Folsom is, Heather Robinson's sympathetic. She's a nice lady. She's a single mom, one in college, one on the way to college. And I think you correctly pointed out that the implications for her was, yeah, she's got a business. She didn't want to default. She didn't have a choice. She didn't have the option to do the many hours of homework Mr. Folsom did. She didn't have a choice but to cut that check. So for those reasons, I doubt there's anything I can tell you about subsection A or B that you haven't heard a million times before, and you kind of know these when you see them. This is a motion that I filed that is almost just as much about deterring future attempts to get Ms. Robinson into a suit where she doesn't belong. And if you look at that EEOC letter that he's.
And it's very important what he just said. You may not notice it, understand it, but you understand that a $12,000 bill is more so a deterrent.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what he's trying to say. And the judge understands this also, because what happens is whenever you get a pro se litigant that wants to pull this kind of shit, of filing a frivolous fucking lawsuit, adding people that they don't need to be adding, whenever they realize that's a $12,000 bill right there, if I'm wrong, that's $12,000 that I'm going to be out of pocket if I try this shit again. It is a deterrent. It is no different than whenever you get a DUI. That is an outrageous amount of money. It is way over the fucking top that you should pay for a fucking DUI, but it is a deterrent to make you never want to drink and drive 100%. Again.
Hi, Mom.
That he shared with us several times. It doesn't say that he has a claim against anybody, but especially not Ms. Robinson and Cross and Dot. What it says is, we have 180 days to investigate this. I don't think it uses the words, we're not going to finish, but it says, we're giving you your rights back. And, as attorneys, we have the benefit of knowing that when the EEOC loves a discrimination case, they take it on. Kudos to him for even knowing to go to the EEOC.
I get lots of cases where someone didn't get the right to sue, and then there's the immediate defense. Like, look, they didn't even get a green light from the EEOC. So further proof of Mr. Folk, the depth of his homework.
Absolutely diligent. So I appreciate your time here. I would ask the court to grant our motion as to both Robinson and Cross and Dot in the full amount we sought. And I will reiterate, none of that includes what it cost her to get the federal case dismissed. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. So I will take this under advisement. I appreciate Mr. Folson, your time, and Mr. Wilbanks, your time, and Ms. Euler's time. I'll get an order out soon-ish. In the meantime, the rest of the case keeps motoring along, and we'll do what's appropriate in that part. Mr. Folson, any questions about what's coming next?
Yes, and I have questions. I also want to add to, if that's okay, what he just mentioned.
Okay, if it's brief, you can add to it.
I will keep it brief because being a professor, I talk a lot for 3 hours every Tuesday and Thursday.
Okay, we don't have 3 hours, so.
We have 2 seconds. And so my thing is, he mentioned earlier that the federal is parallel to this case. The federal includes the ADA of them denying me my accommodations for my daughters with Down syndrome. So the EEOC investigated thoroughly and they provided a right to sue letter. I'm not able to sue federally without that letter. So they did investigate, they did ask questions, and it's very noticeable what happened in regards to that. And so I just wanted to add that to it.
Okay, understood. And then you said you had questions?
I have questions about what happens next. And so I know the first complaint, you told me to be specific about Lyra, right? Then you gave me an opportunity to amend. I amended that complaint. I included additional information such as the police report and agreements from my tech and other things that prove that it was defamation of character. And so Mr. Wilbanks, from my understanding, only filed a motion after discovery. And even in discovery, I requested information, but I didn't necessarily assume that he would respond or not. But he did respond with HR documentation that Rise stated they did not have. Only Heather Robinson had the documentation. And she's the one who sent me the contract.
Discovery.
He sent me the altered contract on her behalf. Contract that's different from what I signed legally under the superintendent at the time. This contract lists Lara Sterling, a board chair member, as the governing authority, and it lists no salary for me. And so I had questions about it before I signed because I didn't want to sign a contract and I didn't know my salary. And I feel like anybody would have questions. And so I just wanted to add that to it. Like I said, everything I've done has been in good faith. It hasn't been to harass or cause an annoyance or, aggravate anybody. I'm a professional, and even though Mr. Wilbanks is supporting Heather and representing Heather, I respect his position. I respect Heather's position. I understand that we are in the court of law. And so, Lord. As an advocate for myself, I'm here to represent myself after being denied by attorneys. And maybe I was denied because I didn't represent myself well enough to deal.
No.
But I've gotten this for by the grace of God. And
just because the EEOC gave you the green light to proceed does not mean that you have a fucking case.
No.
All right, my wife has turned down cases because somebody has come in and wanting to do some sort of lawsuit or something, and she's like, "You don't have a case."
Yeah,
like attorneys hate losing. Okay, all attorneys hate fucking losing, and one thing is sure, you can get somebody that's a shady attorney and will take your money for you to lose. They will absolutely do that. My wife is not one of those. She will look at a case and she'll go, listen, I reviewed the title work on this or whatever it might be, and say, listen, you don't have a case. Your best case scenario is for you to settle with these people and pay them whatever they're asking and move on with your day. Because the amount that they're asking, you would more than be paying that in attorney's fees. Plus, at the end of the day, you're going to be paying them exactly what they're asking. And then on top of that, you're going to be paying their attorney's fees because you were going to lose. I am trying to save you money.
Yeah.
And that's what these attorneys told him. I guarantee you, they looked at this case. They said, this case is absolute fucking garbage. And you can pay me to do all this stuff, but you are going to lose. Your best case scenario is to move on with your fucking life. But attorneys won't say that because they can't say that.
I hope that you see my perspective in this and in regards to me showing good faith effort.
Okay, I do. And in terms of what's next, I was just reviewing the order that I entered about 2 weeks ago. And we're back to where we were. Count one remains, that's defamation. So Sterling is still in as a defendant, and the claim against her is defamation. Rise is out again, and I'm going to deal with the status of Cross and Dot and Ms. Robinson as part of my ruling on this motion for attorney's fees. And that's it. Your motion to compel was denied, and there's not a default here. So we're moving forward in that way. Okay?
Okay, my next question, if you don't mind.
Oh, no.
How does this look
We do
going
mind.
forward? I know you have your calendar and you are working on things, but with me not completely understanding what's next, I just wanted to see if you can provide some additional feedback.
I'm just looking to see if there is a scheduling order for this sort of second iteration.
He's wanting a ruling from the judge right now.
Yeah.
And
He
the
doesn't
judge-
realize it's not going to go
And
well
I
for
do
him.
want to add, while you're searching, I did receive an offer to settle from Rise that I declined.
Okay.
Okay.
It's probably the only money you were going to see, dude. Even if it was
Yeah.
$10.
Oh, Judge McBurney is the bomb.
I will have to ponder what's next. We never did a scheduling order, I think, because there were motions to dismiss pending and
Sorry,
you
guys.
amended the complaint. So I think right now it's just sort of discovery is happening. I think technically probably the discovery period has closed, but that's an issue for Ms. Sterling and you to be discussing and not anyone else.
Oh.
They told me that they have nothing, no more to send me, and it's closed per your order that you said.
Okay. Well, I'll look more on that, and then we'll figure out. I mean, what would be next would be trial. So we'll see where
Y'all
we
want
head
that.
with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks everyone for your time.
I figured out how to use this.
Guys. Look at this.
Holy cow.
Holy goodness gracious.
You got it on the TV. You're actually able to stream it over to the TV.
I mean, this is incredible. I've never experienced such
I
luxury.
love the chubby kid in me read macaroni and cheese. So I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
What are we doing? Macaroni and cheese? I love macaroni and cheese. What?
Well,
It's
you
gotta be
said
good
mac
macaroni and cheese.
and I was like,
Oh.
you got macaroni and cheese at the airport?
No,
That
there's
was ballsy, but how was
there's a
it?
place right up the road from Emory, and it is called Community Q, and it is got the best mac and cheese you will ever have.
Ooh.
And
I'm convinced I make the best.
no, they use 7 different kinds of cheeses in this.
So you're going
Oh.
to say herbs and spices.
I have not. Oh my God, let's never talk about KFC ever again.
No, ever. No,
No, but
no.
that's when you say when you said that, that's what popped in my head. Association, not affiliation.
No.
I'm still traumatized by KFC.
Everybody, we're sending you over to the expert. We'll see you guys very soon. Have a good one, and thank you for hanging out. We'll see you later. Oh, love it.
Welcome, darlings, to the pre-stream with Mo in the deep end and Shizzy Wiznut. Sweetie, we ain't here to babysit your feelings. Bless your heart, we are here to laugh, react, and roast every stupid thing you do. You bring the clips, we bring the jokes. when FNL goes live.